arrested. This time it's a BJP leader, the Telangana BJP state chief and MP Bandi Sanjay, arrested at midnight. Statewide protest by the BJP against the arrest. The Telangana police say that he was involved in a conspiracy to disrupt exams. The chief minister's son KTR claims that BJP leaders are leaking exam papers. The BJP says this is done to derail the Prime Minister's Telangana visit this weekend. No separate immunity for politicians, says the Chief Justice, as 14 opposition parties have filed a petition in court against the misuse of the CBI and the ED. Opposition lawyer Abhishek Singhvi withdraws the petition, says that he can appeal again. The Supreme Court hasn't commented on merits. The BJP says it's a vindication of their stand. The top court overturns a government ban on Kerala channel Media One, saying critical views of the media are not anti-establishment and cannot use national security to deny citizens' rights. A Hanuman Jayanti advisory sent to all states from the Home Ministry. Maintain law and order, says the advisory to states after the recent Ram Navami clashes. The Calcutta High Court orders the Mamata government to use paramilitary forces along with state police for Hanuman Jayanti. The BJP gets a superstar campaigner in Karnataka. Kicha Sudeep says he's not joining politics, but he will be campaigning for Uncle Bomoy. The Congress says it's ED threats which lead stars to campaign. The US backs India against China's latest Arunachal claims by renaming places there. The Prime Minister also praises work in Arunachal border villages, snubbing China's claim. Ex-President Trump arrested, pleads not guilty and released on bail. He's fired up, says the US is going to hell. Our lead story tonight, a judgment expected shortly in the case of the arrest of the Telangana BJP chief and MP Bandi Sanjay Kumar, arrested at midnight from his house by the police, sweeping in, taken across different parts of Telangana before he's produced before a magistrate. His arrest led to huge statewide protests by the BJP. KCR's government and police are standing firm, saying that he was arrested because he was attempting to disrupt the Class 10 exam. KTR said, KCR's son and a minister in the Telangana government said that BJP leaders are leaking exam papers, but the BJP going on the offensive. Is this political payback, as the chief minister's daughter Kavita also facing charges with the ED and a possible arrest here? KCR preempting this by arresting an arch rival in the state, the BJP state chief Bandi Kumar.
High drama close to midnight. Telangana BJP chief and Karimnagar MP Bandi Sanjay was taken by the police from his home where he was attending the 10th day rituals after his mother-in-law passed away. For the next 16 hours, he was moved from place to place, changing vehicles periodically. From Bomalaramaram to Bonagiri to Aleru to Jangaon and Palakurti, finally presented in Hanumakonda court by evening 5 p.m. and sent to judicial custody for 2 weeks.
ఇతను అందరికీ కూడా ఇక్కడ నుంచి మొత్తం స్ప్రెడ్ అవుతున్నట్టు మనకి ఇక్కడ ఇతని ఫోన్లో ఉన్నటువంటి వాట్సాప్ మెసేజెస్ వాట్సాప్ చాట్స్ తోటి.
The remand report accuses Bandi Sanjay of conspiracy to defame the government over the 10th class paper leak, cause confusion and anxiety among students, create law and order problems, threatening the conduct of exams. This even as BJP protested against Bandi Sanjay's arrest and a habeas corpus was filed in the High Court. From JP Nadda to Union Minister Kishan Reddy, BJP leaders condemned what they called an illegal and undemocratic arrest.
Illegally, without information, without notice, they arrested. Bandi Sanjay questioned the police, why you are arresting, what is the case, what is the issue, they don't know.
The BJP campaign on the TSPSC exam paper leak followed by the 10th class exam paper leak has turned down the heat on the BRS government.
Is this what BJP is trying to do? At the cost of 5 lakh SSC students, you want to play politics, dirty politics?
Bandi Sanjay's arrest comes just 3 days before Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to come to Hyderabad on April 8 to announce multiple development projects and also literally kick off BJP's election campaign for the Telangana Assembly elections later this year. Just last year, the Prime Minister had publicly praised Bandi Sanjay for a very successful public meeting at parade grounds. In Hyderabad, with camera person Nagraju, Umar Sudhir, NDTV.
The other big headline, the Supreme Court today refused to entertain an opposition plea of 14 opposition parties against the misuse of central agencies like the CBI and the ED. The Supreme Court said there cannot be a case where the political leaders would get any special immunity which individuals do not get, saying that we will not entertain this petition. Opposition lawyer Abhishek Singhvi withdrew the petition and said that the Supreme Court did not dismiss it on merit, but the BJP is claiming this as a major vindication of their stand.
The Supreme Court refused to entertain the petition of 14 opposition political parties alleging that the CBI and Enforcement Directorate were being misused by the centre to act against opposition leaders. The court said, when you say that the space for opposition has shrunk, the remedy is in that space, the political space, not the court. The parties argued that 95% of the top political leaders facing ED and CBI cases are from the opposition. The Chief Justice of India asked their lawyer Abhishek Singhvi why political leaders should have a separate standing. Political leaders stand absolutely on the same standing as citizens of the country. They don't claim higher identity. How can there be a different set of procedures for them? If an individual comes to us, we dealt with it in one of your own cases. Then it will be confined to the facts of the case. In the absence of specific facts to lay down general guidelines, will be in danger. To which Singhvi argued, where is the democracy if these people are fighting cases all the time? But seeing the court's refusal to entertain the plea, Singhvi finally sought permission to withdraw the plea.
They ultimately did not entertain it, but did not express a single opinion on the merits. They allowed the matter to be withdrawn. They recorded that it's at this stage, which means that full liberty is there for us to come again on new facets, new grounds. The building blocks were felt to be too broad by the court at this stage. They involved an allegation of non-level, uneven playing field because 95% of all cases involve opposition leaders as far as the political sphere is concerned.
As far as the legal aspect is concerned, this petition was doomed from the beginning. It is misconceived because political parties by themselves do not have fundamental rights.
For the BJP, which has been at the receiving end of the opposition tirade for allegedly misuse of investigative agencies, the Supreme Court's refusal to entertain the opposition is welcome.
सभी भ्रष्टाचारी एक मंच पर आने का प्रयास करते हैं, लेकिन ये जनता में भी इनका चेहरा बेनकाब हुआ है और कोर्ट में भी असलियत जानने का मौका मिला है.
The court was not ready to lay down guidelines on an omnibus petition based on statistics. Instead, it asked that it come back with a specific issue of a leader or others so that it can lay down guidelines of the possible misuse of the ED and CBI. In New Delhi, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
The Supreme Court today also overturned a government ban on a Kerala channel, Media One, which had been blocked by the centre. The Kerala High Court had upheld this order. But in a major order for press freedom, the Supreme Court said you cannot raise national security to deny citizens' rights. The Supreme Court said the government criticism is no ground to deny a licence and that the government can't stop a broadcast on the pretext of national security. The Supreme Court also added that the government can't expect the press to support it always. In fact, even the term anti-establishment implies that you expect the press to be pro-establishment. Other big headline tonight, the Home Ministry has issued an advisory to states to maintain law and order on the occasion of Hanuman Jayanti. This comes after a series of clashes in different states during Ram Navami processions. Also, today the Calcutta High Court, which was hearing a BJP petition on the violence during a Ram Navami procession, said that the state government, the Mamata government, must ask for paramilitary forces also to be used along with police during Hanuman Jayanti.
After violence in Hooghly district and Howrah near Kolkata in the past week, an appeal by West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee ahead of the Hanuman Jayanti celebrations on Thursday.
সবাই শান্তিতে ভালো করে সবকিছু পালন করুন, শান্তিতে পালন করলে কোনো অসুবিধা হয় না।
This as the Calcutta High Court ordered the state government to requisition paramilitary forces for the Hanuman Jayanti celebrations in the state. The Calcutta High Court observed that given the magnitude of the crowd involved, the state machinery may not be able to manage, and it is better if the state requisitions paramilitary forces, which is not to suggest failure of state machinery, but to assist the state machinery. Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also appealed for calm. After Ram Navami violence in multiple states, the Union Home Ministry has issued an advisory urging states to maintain law and order. With Neeta Sharma in New Delhi and camera person GD Shankar in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
And another news, COVID cases continue to rise in India. India now has 4,435 COVID cases being reported. That's up from 3,038 cases yesterday, so a rise on 1,000 cases. Also, there have been 15 COVID deaths in the last 24 hours. Of that, 4 in Maharashtra. Also, 4 COVID deaths have been added by Kerala. These happened earlier. So, the average death rate is at nearly 1.2%. It's up from less than 1% a week ago. So, we need to stay alert with the weekly positivity rate at nearly 2.8%.
Satara, a district in Maharashtra, has made masks mandatory again. This after 2 people died of COVID here and active cases tripled to 67 in just 15 days.
वो सारे जितने भी शासकीय निम्न शासकीय कार्यालय है, बैंक है, शाला है, जहाँ पर कि काफ़ी भीड़ जमा होती है, जहाँ पर कि काफ़ी सारे लोग एक साथ आते हैं, तो ऐसी जगहों पर मास्क की हमने अनिवार्यता कर दी है. मास्क पहनना ऐसी सब जगहों पर अनिवार्य किया गया है. पूरे जो हमारी यंत्रणा है, जितना भी हमारी शासकीय और प्राइवेट में जितना भी हॉस्पिटल्स हैं, उन सबको भी अलर्ट पर किया गया है और अपने पास जितने भी बेड्स हैं वो दोबारा से एक्टिवेट किए गए हैं.
While 15 COVID-related deaths were reported across 9 states in the past 24 hours, the highest since mid-October last year, India saw the sharpest single-day rise in new COVID cases in nearly 165 days. The average daily new cases have increased by over 5 times in the past 1 month, and the weekly positivity rate almost doubled in the past week. While both Delhi and Mumbai saw a significant rise in hospitalizations, experts say the number of very sick patients remains low.
Hospitals are now reporting an increase in their inpatients with COVID-19, but very sick individuals are actually quite rare. People who are unvaccinated are developing pneumonia, and that's been our consistent observation over the years. One other problem is that healthcare personnel are testing positive, doctors, nurses, administrative staff and others. This could potentially lead to decreased manpower over the next few weeks.
As per sources in the Health Ministry, a detailed COVID management and medical infra plan was discussed in a high-level meeting of the government's empowered group today. The focus remains on ramping up genome sequencing and increased testing. With camera person AJ Joseph, Vedant for NDTV.
The main message there, be alert, COVID cases rising, and now some more hospitalizations also happening, as doctors just said in that report. In other news, the market's gaining nearly 1%. The Sensex gaining 582 points, the Nifty gaining 159 points. Financials gained most in trade today. The rupee also strengthening 33 paise. And RBI key decision on interest rates is tomorrow. Also today, gold prices hit a record high, crossing 61,000 rupees per 10 grams in intraday trading. Well, the United States today strongly condemned China's bizarre claim of renaming 11 villages in Arunachal, saying that this is a violation of sovereignty.
For the second consecutive day, China laid claim to Arunachal Pradesh, justifying its effort to name parts of the state as its sovereign right. It's a claim that's been thoroughly rejected by New Delhi.
藏南地区是中国领土。根据国务院地名管理的有关规定，中国政府主管部门对我国藏南地区的部分地名进行了标准化处理，这完全是中国主权范围之内的事情。
Earlier, after the latest Chinese effort on Monday to name parts of Arunachal, New Delhi had made it clear, we've seen such reports. It's not the first time China has made such an attempt. We reject this outright. Arunachal Pradesh has been and will always be an integral and inalienable part of India. Attempts to assign invented names will not alter this reality. The United States, a close strategic ally, has backed New Delhi.
The United States, as you know, Lila, has recognized that territory for a long time. And we strongly oppose any unilateral attempts to advance territorial claims by renaming localities. And so, again, this is something that we have long stood by.
Meanwhile, at a time when China has stepped up construction activity of villages along the Arunachal frontier, the Prime Minister today backed India's efforts to counter this, backing an effort by Arunachal Chief Minister Pema Khandu to empower those living in border villages. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.
Well, Donald Trump is back in Florida after he pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts. Ex-President Trump says the only crime I committed is defending the United States, and this country is going to hell under Joe Biden. However, some good news for ex-President Trump today, as Stormy Daniels, a court ruled that Stormy Daniels had to pay the legal damages, the legal fees of Trump.
Country is going to hell.
Defiant despite being in the dock, former US President Donald Trump was briefly arrested on Tuesday and then charged with 34 felony counts for falsifying business records in the hush money case. Trump pleaded not guilty in the courtroom before the judge after the charges against him were unsealed and read out.
The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. And even hardcore Democrats say there is no crime and that it should never have been brought. Never have been brought. Everybody.
It is alleged that campaign funds were used to pay porn star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 US presidential elections to suppress the publication of her alleged affair with Donald Trump. The use of campaign funds illegally for the payments is a charge that has been denied by Trump's camp. Ironically though, in California, Trump secured a legal victory on the same day after Stormy Daniels lost a defamation case and was ordered to pay $121,000 to the attorneys of Trump. But the Manhattan District Attorney, who has resurrected the case against Trump, said that the charges against the former president were more than just about payments.
On 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Under New York state law, it is a felony to falsify business records with intent to defraud and an intent to conceal another crime.
So the Manhattan District Attorney and the judge are now the political targets of the Republicans in the run-up to the 2024 presidential election.
For Republicans, the Manhattan District Attorney will be a lightning rod for their assertions that this case is, at best, a campaign promise and at worst, a political persecution. Democrats, meanwhile, have largely emphasized how the justice system needs to play out without prejudice or favor.
Trump has been able to use the case to gain support among the Republicans, and his fundraising has soared ever since the indictment.
Meanwhile, his campaign officials say Trump has raised a whopping $10 million in donations since the news of his indictment last week.
However, many commentators are skeptical about whether Trump could prevail in a general election even if he makes the cut as a Republican presidential candidate. The trial itself is expected to stretch out over 2.5 years, going way beyond the presidential election 2024, and will constitutionally not affect his chance to contest either. With Parmeshwar Baba, Maha Siddiqui for NDTV.